Good morning. Good morning. So I'm so excited to be here with everybody today. And right now, and I wonder if you all can tag the presentation so it's up. We're going to get moving. It's coming. While it comes, you might notice that there are paper bags on your table. If you don't have a paper bag on your table, let me know. And there's a set of plain white note cards. There should be a note card for everyone at the table. Everyone, please take a note card. Here we go. Oh. Did I do something?
No, just a presentation for them.
We'll talk through it. Technology is not going to stop us. So to start, I want you, this is not going to be difficult. Think about the things that you're thinking about. Think about the things that you're thinking about that may prevent you from being 100% present today. The things that come to mind, I want you to write them on the card. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. And I'll say it again while this is coming up. Think about the things that you're thinking about, because we're going to call those distractions. I want you to write the things that you're thinking about on the card. Give you a couple minutes to do that. Interesting. There we go.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me and I'll be your clicker.
Okay. Okay. Some of us may have short lists, some of us may have long lists, and that's okay. The things that you're thinking about that may prevent you from being 100% present today, because there's a gift in your presence. The other people at your table, the other people in the room need you to be 100% present. You need to be 100% present. So we're going to write those things down. Does anybody not have anything to write down on the list? If so, I can give you some of mine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, give her some. You don't have any distractions today? She needs a couple. Okay. All right. So as you finish your list, somebody at the table, open the paper bag and put your cards in the paper bag. So you know what we're doing here, right? What are we doing? We're throwing away our distractions so we can be present. Absolutely. Yep, and you cannot have these distractions until we're done. Actually, here's the secret. You don't even have to pick them up when we're done this morning. You can leave them there. We'll ball them up and we'll throw them away for you. All right? So that comes part of the service of today. You know what? We're not going to burn them. It's been hot in Texas. You know, burn. Yeah. so we're not going to burn them. All right.
I want to say one thing, guys. For me, this is my consummate distractor, right? And we're not going to put it in the bag because then we'd have to go through and give them back to you guys. So we don't want to do that. But I'm going to ask you to flip it over, flip the little button on the side, turn it down. Do whatever you need to do to be present in this moment, because whatever you're going to get here, you want to really absorb it, right? You want to take in everything that Denise is going to say. You want to take in all the conversations that are going on. And later you want to go and filter this information and do something useful with it. So this is mine. I don't have a super long list of stuff I think about because it tells me what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, where I'm going to be and all that. But I'm going to turn mine right here, and I'd like it if you do that because it is a consummate distractor.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So this is what we're going to do today. So this is not, and you all probably saw when you registered, we're not going to talk about job search tips and tactics today. That's not what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on you. So I do not know a better subject than to focus on but the individuals in this room. Does anyone disagree? Does everyone agree? Yes. Absolutely. So you are the focus. So, and we're gonna talk about the impact that you have on your job search. We're gonna do that by changing minds, changing your mind. So we'll share 3 reasons why changing your mind will help you on your job search. You see, I have search crossed out there. I typically say job found. Now, I can share that with y'all. You can start saying job found if you want to, because the object of this process, and it's a process, we're going through it, is not to end up in a search mode, it's to end up in a found mode. I think sometimes language is pretty powerful. So if you choose to adopt that as mine, I can give that to you. And then after we come back from the break, we will be working within our tables to come up with some ways to increase your marketability right now. Because there are some things that you can do right now that will change that. So just want to tell you, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you about, I just went on and clicked.
That's
All
okay.
right.
It's fine.
I talk about changing your mind. This is not somebody getting under the hood and doing something underneath your brain. This is all about your power of thought here. So one of the things that maybe we should talk about is our roles. We're going to facilitate. We're going to talk, and we're going to ask you to talk, and we know that the knowledge is in the room, and we don't have all the knowledge, but we know between all of us, we do. So can we join in on that? All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so this is how we'll do it. We're going to use a tool. Now, Nigel asked everybody to turn their phones over. Maybe you can turn your phone over, put it on Do Not Disturb. I put mine on Do Not Disturb too. But there are going to be a couple times that I'll ask you to use your phone as we collect your responses. We're going to be using Mentimeter to do that. Then ask you to be present. Of course, everything is in the paper bag now, so there's no reason that you're not present. All the distractions are there. By the way, if you think of, I just thank you for being, thank you. He's just right there. He's just right there with me. I appreciate that. If there's distractions that come up for you between the time that you put them in and now, you can grab a little piece of paper and you can write them down and you can put them in there. Okay, you can do that as we go. So be present. Of course, I mentioned there's power in that, and other people need you. They need you to be present today. And we will take care of the clicking. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. And at the end of the morning, we are going to have a 2-part challenge, because we're going to talk, we're going to exchange ideas, we're going to learn a couple of things, but we are going to take that and put it into action. So everybody good with that? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can go ahead and advance it. Thank you for that. I like quotes. I don't know if anybody else likes quotes. They make me think a little bit. Can somebody, and I tried to write this really big, can somebody call out what it says on that quote? Anybody, just read it.
Be present in all things and thankful in all things.
We're going to talk about being present and thankfulness too. And that's Maya Angelou said that. Go ahead. Thank you. So if you would take out the pesky distraction. And actually, I'm going to unshare for 1 second while I make sure that this is the right way. And if you would go to Mentimeter, do you see the code there on Mentimeter? It's menti.com. And if you put that code in.
And it's 341412.
Everybody there? You should see a question that says, list as many words and or phrases that represent your job search. This is another question to ask you what you're thinking. So this is unlimited. You can put a couple of words in, submit, you can put some more words in. List as many words and or phrases that represent your job search. I'll give you a minute to do that. And as it says there, the source of the answers are confidential. I'm not going to know what Jim said or what Liz said. It's all, I'll just know what everybody said. And I bet this is not too difficult to come up with because y'all are thinking about your job search or now your job found quite a lot, probably. Give you a few more seconds to do that. So if you, and I know the words are a little small and we can kind of call some of those out. The responses are still coming in. There's blurbs there. I already see some commonalities. And Nigel and I are just going to take turns calling them out. Okay, no, I know. Oh, okay, no, all answers. Okay. Networking. Frustrating.
Overwhelming.
Time consuming.
Hard.
Negative.
Anxiousness.
Solution consulting.
Oh, difficult.
Exhausting.
It's a struggle.
Difficult.
Uncomfortable.
Finding a good fit.
Long.
Diligent full-time job.
Chaotic.
Deep suffering.
Oh, devaluing.
Learning.
Enlightening.
Worriness.
Humility.
Persistent, determined, effective.
Strategic.
Patience.
Fearful.
Scary.
Be clear about what I can offer.
Teachable.
Trust.
Long game.
LinkedIn.
We'll read a couple more, but you all can kind of see, and you're getting a theme, right? Fruitful.
Evolving.
A couple more. Arduous.
Outstanding.
Random.
Unpredictable.
Okay, I just got to read this because somebody put a long thing in here, but we're going to honor that. Healthcare, medical device, quality assurance, compliance, auditing. I think this is exactly what this person might be looking for. Expertise, skill set, resonates. Okay,
This one right here.
go ahead.
Mentally exhausting, confusing, a needle in a haystack, time consuming, frightening. None of those are positive.
Some of them. Some of them.
In that one.
Yeah,
none.
in that one, yeah.
Yeah, but some of them, not in that one.
Right.
Right.
So as you listen and hear some of these, what themes are you all coming out with? This is what's in the room. What are you guys thinking?
What's resonating with you? Oh. Too much.
It's not an easy process. Press.
Depressing.
You found that it's changed
No.
getting a job. I'm assuming.
That's when you get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel to have to do that? Cheated.
Taking advantage of.
Taken advantage of.
Another obstacle.
Another obstacle.
Another case where you get calls that you didn't want to get called on your phone, cell phone now that you, in addition to your landline.
Okay.
Finger I didn't know I had.
Ah,
Yeah, that too.
can you share?
That's a
little
big,
bit? I
that's
wanna-
big.
Yeah, I think in my mind, I'm trying to network, trying to apply, and then I think that I have a breakthrough, and then you kind of just feel like you're at a prom date, but that's a problem.
Yeah.
You just totally feel, I haven't once, I felt totally embarrassed. And I felt like I needed to get revenge. And I didn't know what that was like.
Okay.
So, but also as a fuel to kind of get that memory out of my head
Okay.
forward.
Yeah.
But it was really, my wife is St. Louis.
Okay.
Wow.
And I have to
Well, it
remember
breaks
that
your trust.
It breaks your trust. Okay.
I
Okay.
have to remember that I'm a Christian so that I have to forgive them
Yeah.
instead of cursing.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of Christianity, I thought of rebirth was the first word that came to mind.
Did everybody hear what she said?
Did you guys hear Devin?
Rebirth.
She said rebirth is what, speaking of Christianity, that's the first word that comes to mind for her.
That and also renewing of your mind.
So as we talked, I kind of scrolled through, thank you all for your responses. We have there's 126 responses. Some of them, to our point that we were making, some of them are optimistic, talking with other people, getting to meet people, fruitful. And a lot of them are really hard. And it's okay, because it's they're hard, and it's true. It's the hard truth. So let's talk about how we can focus a little bit. Let me bring up the presentation one more time, everybody. 1 second, we're getting there. Okay, I'll make this guy go bigger. Here we are. So, can somebody in the back read this quote and say it loudly, please?
Your thoughts shape your vision. You see what you choose to see.
Yeah. What are you thinking about that quote? You took that one step further. You said the power of your thoughts. And what you said is that your thoughts have the power to bring things to you.
You say is what
In my search right now, I'm more asking myself, when I'm not getting something that I apply for, I guess that's not meant to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
haven't figured out what it is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So this quote was from, you see her name there, and as I was going through this, researching it, and I put the context of the person. She was a tennis player, kind of in the era of, came alongside in the era of maybe a little bit before Billie Jean King. So imagine what it was. You all, some of you all don't have to imagine too much, but imagine what it was for female athletes, female tennis players in the 60s. I think she took Wimbledon in 1962. So she was thinking about her thoughts through her process. So let's talk a little bit about connectedness. Do you have anything that you want to talk about before we go there? Okay. Some of you may have seen this before. Anybody, and we're not having therapy here, but we know that the therapy is a good thing. Anybody familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy? Okay, and what do you know about it? A lot of you said, yes, I know about that. Yeah. So there's a connection, right? Between your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior.
Yeah.
So we need to know that there's a connection, and there's almost like a motor there. Your thoughts drive your feelings drive your behaviors. So why are we calling this slide out after we just asked you about your thoughts about your job search?
Well, we're all stuck in the negative circle and stay on that Ferris wheel.
Did everybody hear her? Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
You can reframe it.
Anyone? You can say that loud? You can reframe it?
Reframe it.
Okay.
You can change it.
Okay. What else? Go ahead.
Focus on the negative, you're missing out on counting your blessings.
You're missing out on counting your blessings. Okay. Who else? Why did we connect it here? The answers are in the room.
Guys, you gotta talk to us.
Why are we talking about thoughts, feelings, and behaviors after we just looked at some pretty hard thoughts and feelings about our job search?
Well, you can't think about things that you're thankful for at the same time you're thinking about that it will not stay in the same place, and it happens in the same part of the body.
I think that you need to stop reading my notes here. That's something that definitely that we'll talk about. Be aware, and of course, thank you, everybody. Be aware that what we're thinking translates to what we're feeling and how we're showing up. How do we want to show up in our job search? I have a hard time saying search, in our job found.
You want to show up as someone they're going to want to have, and they're not going to want to have someone with negative thoughts and negative actions. They're going to want to be drawn to someone who's positive, has a smile on their face, addition and an asset to their company,
So there's a benefit.
liability.
So there's a benefit to the potential employer. There's also a benefit to who you are as a human being. What about those people who might be living under the same roof that you live under? Yeah, what about those adult children who you don't get to see as often as you would like to? What about those elderly parents who you need to be extra patient with, who really need the best of you too? So you're doing this for your job found, and you're doing it for you. And recognizing that there's a connection between all three is really powerful. So if you're feeling some kind of way, and you know, usually when people say that, that's not a positive thing. If you're feeling some kind of way, you may not be able to change the feelings, but you can change your thoughts. So if you're feeling negative, what's something that you might do? Say something
Say
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about negative, and I mean, people sometimes don't understand what mindfulness means. They just think it's something you do before you start your day, and that's not it. It's connecting those two pieces, the negative and the positive, to have a better outcome.
Can you give me an example?
I guess, just, maybe having an anxious moment and how do you calm down? That's one way we can use mindfulness to help you through that process. I think I've noticed that within myself because, again, all those comments were true about the negativity. And it's very important to understand and know where you're at with that process.
Right.
That goes back to that last statement that you said.
Okay. I want to, oh, go ahead. No,
It's a silly exercise.
No, it's not.
Somewhere sometime, but if you just smile right now, you just try smiling, and then try to think a bad thought or say a bad thought while you're smiling. It's kind of impossible. And so it's a silly exercise. When you try it, you just smile. Okay. And try to think of something bad, you can't.
Yes,
This is, something that, I'm actually trying to write about. I write for LinkedIn, and I'm in the middle of a story right now about it, but how many times do people ask you, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm busy. And if you reframe that to, I'm better than I deserve. And you think about all the ways.
Dave Ramsey.
Better than you deserve because you have God who's behind you, you have a network that is supporting you, you have a family that puts up with you. You are better than you deserve.
right.
Awesome. We have one more over here.
Also, you know, with the negative thoughts, write those down, then next to that, write something positive.
Oh.
Now, she
So,
said,
say,
she said, next to your negative thoughts, all of the negative thoughts that you have, write them down, but next to it, write something positive.
awesome.
I want to speak to that for just a second. I don't really write my negative thoughts because I don't want to keep them, right? That's the reason that we put them in that bag. And I really think when we talk about what we're thinking about and being gracious, because this is a grace journey for a lot of us here, right? Write 300 things that you're grateful for. And it doesn't matter if you don't get 300. It doesn't matter if you just get 150. The point is the reflective piece that you have to go through, the perpetual grace that you engage in with yourself.
To your point, you can make a gratefulness list,
Mhm.
but when you're in that funk, and you should do it every morning, and we're with a bunch of friends here, but get on your knees and pray to God, thanking Him for all the blessings you've had, and then asking Him for the help in your job-bound process
Right.
to give you that good energy that you need.
Absolutely.
So, I think of the successes I've had in my past, when I'm told, you know, you can't, I say you can.
Right.
I look how I went to school, the night school, and I got my degree. I look at the manager that told me, you'll never be an HR person. I've been in HR 25 years.
And your story is not over.
No.
No, and I think that's where you have to get it. I am unemployed, like all of you. I am not unemployable. The fact that I don't have a job today has nothing to do with the fact that I will be employed. I'm a leader HR team. I'm a global HR leader. Those things are not connected. If I allow the fact that I don't have a job right now to permeate and take over my thoughts, and I start to magnify that thought, because we were talking yesterday about how your behavior influences your biology. It will physically influence the way that you show up, and you have to be connected, right, to what you're thinking about, and you have to hone it in and turn it on in the way that it should go. These should be positive thoughts. I'm grateful for this time. Because we were talking about how we had time some people had time to do other things, right? Your kids are going to college, you're doing a dorm room, you're getting the opportunity to take a break and figure out, do I really want to go back in HR? Do I really want to work that job? Should I pivot here and take this experience and everything that I've learned and do something different with it? So you gotta think about what you're thinking about, and you gotta think about how you're thinking about what you're thinking about.
What you're thinking about. We had one here, and then we'll go to, we'll go back and then go to Foster.
I was just gonna jump off of what she said over there about, right, or saying whatever those negative things are, because there's a lot of power in it, at least. Like doing that soul shirt, like what we did on that paper, there's a lot of power in calling out those negative things. Just don't stay in them, and counter it with the positive to combat, but not just ignore them and just keep staying positive. Not when you're really deep down, you're pushing down all that negative.
I hear flushing it out, right? Flushing it out.
It's just good to call it out.
Absolutely. Do we have somebody else before we go to Foster? We have one in the back. Was it Jill? Was it you? Yeah?
Go, Connor. Yeah.
Okay.
To kind of piggyback on some of the other thoughts that people had already, is that reinforcement to be able to help keep that positive attitude with what you have. Like, I've had these fortunes in the back of my phone for the last 2 or 3 years that I got from Fortune Cookies, and sometimes you need that positive reminder to help kind of keep you pushing, keep you going in there. And they both, 2 of the 3 line up really well with what we're talking about today. One of them is change your thoughts and you change your destiny.
Yep.
Keeping that positive mindset and trying to help make sure that you know that you can make it happen.
Yep.
And then either you can or you can't. Either way, you're right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One other thing that does well is actually being able to laugh. And the thing about laughter is it releases endorphins, it releases all sorts of other things that make you feel better. And the thing about it that's interesting is you can actually falsely laugh, and it does the same thing.
I think that's connected to what she's done
Same
over here.
kind of thing
Yeah,
with a smile, it
same
just
thing.
takes it one
Right.
step further.
Absolutely.
Because that smile can also lead into laughter.
Yeah. Foster, what would you like to say before we go on?
Rebecca's going to go before me. I'm going
Oh,
to copy
okay.
off her paper.
Okay.
We could have fun with this if he's going to copy off of me. But for me, it's always helping someone else out. Since I've been looking for a position, I've friends, colleagues who I've worked with are also looking. And so being able to help them, being able, as they said, make someone else smile, it gives so much more energy to you. And then following with the CBT, it's a fuel to keep everyone going. And you're not the only one. We're all in here. Everyone's looking. It gets frustrated. But again, helping someone else lift them up lifts you up even more.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree. Okay, I'm going to come up here so I can get in the camera. Okay, guys, I've been a recruiter for a little while. Been at this a little while. I've hired, seen a lot of stuff. Now, we all know that getting a job is a two-way street, right? I think everybody agrees with that. The ladies have just stated why that is. So now the question becomes, what do we do? Here's what I see. I need a job. Paulette, I need a job. Oh my goodness. You know, I connect people with you all the time. And we have that stress on us when we don't have a job. Whatever that stress looks like, come from the house, or I'm just, we're used to the X's and O's. I'm an old defensive football player for a major university. So I'm going to talk football language. Guys, every job ain't for us. Do we really understand that? Now, I know the answer. I know what you guys are going to tell me, and I know what I see. I need a job. Every job that pops up, oh, I'm excited about. You don't know if you're excited about that job. You don't even know what's going on. Have you connected with some of the people there? Now, do you say no to some of the jobs that decide they want to hire you? Do you see things that you don't like? Am I going to take that job because I'm scared because I don't have a job?
It's okay.
I'm just bringing this up to get thought patterns going. Okay, I'm going to shut up.
So, and we're actually gonna do, an exercise. Somebody kind of even tipped it off when we were talking about mindfulness just a bit ago. Anybody recognize him? Who is that? Pigpen? And we know Pigpen because he has the cloud of who knows what's in the cloud. But the cloud gets to his destination before he gets to his destination. Y'all know where I'm going, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So be aware of the cloud that we might be carrying that we can change with our thoughts, because we don't want to be like Pigpen. We want people to know that we're coming and they see goodness and capability and competence and kindness and professionalism and humanity and enthusiasm, all of those things. They don't see a cloud.
One interesting thing I noticed is he's actually got a smile on his face. Despite the fact he's probably dirty.
Yeah.
Do you know, yesterday we researched him.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So
you think
yesterday we
about
were
it?
researching him and thinking about characters. He only shows up clean one time. In every episode, out of all the episodes that he appears in, he only shows up clean one time. This is him.
But he's always doing
He's always kicking this dust around, and
People like chaos.
some people like chaos. And the reality is that it takes all kinds. But he showed up enthusiastically happy in this cloud of whatever this is, because I don't even know what it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
This is him everywhere that he goes, right? A cloud of, even in the dust, he's got a cloud of happiness. And I don't want to switch what we're saying. I don't want you to take your cloud of heaviness into interviews or onto phone screens or any of that we don't want to walk that in the room. We do want to walk in exactly what Denise says, humanity, professionalism, enthusiasm, and go in talking about what you're going to do to change the organization or help improve the bottom line of the organization that you're interviewing with. That's super important to carry that in the room. But just know that this is how he always showed up, as a cloud of dust. And I would have been like, no, thank you.
Rhetorical question. How many of us are walking around with a cloud and we might not know it, or we've got some work to do? Don't answer.
Yeah.
But just think about it.
Okay.
Let's move on. We'll get you in just a second. So stress. Give me a definition for stress. Anybody?
Somebody's got a good one.
Yeah, stand up.
I'll
Tell
walk
me
to
definition.
you if you do. I might just pick on you. Come on. Come on, Lord.
Stress?
Yeah.
Oh, Lori's a good one.
Come on, I am.
Being unemployed is pretty stressful.
Yeah.
Just a bit, just a bit, just a bit.
Okay. Laura said being unemployed
Okay.
is pretty stressful, just a bit.
So maybe that would be in the, the dictionary. Remember, there was a dictionary and there were pictures by the dictionary. Y'all remember? Yeah, so maybe that could be by the picture. What's the definition of stress? A feeling of overwhelm.
That's a good one.
What else? Out of control. Pressure, I heard. Change. Change is stressful.
Stressful can be good and bad.
Yeah.
Okay, stressful can be, absolutely.
Exactly.
What else? Uncertainty,
Okay.
Have a hall pass.
lack of control. Say that again?
When your emotions are striking fight or flight.
Yeah, everyone knows what that means?
Yep.
Yeah, either you're gonna knock somebody out or you're gonna run away.
Yep. Or both.
Or freeze.
Yeah, or freeze. Or freeze.
Right.
Or freeze.
Deer
Or
in the
freeze.
headlights.
Yeah, or freeze. So the World Health Organization, simple definition, state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. And I think it's so interesting that that's a World Health Organization definition. There's a connection between stress and health, our well-being. So I wonder if we can do this, and we'll need everybody to kind of participate in this. I'll set it up first, but can everyone stand up, please? And we're going to do this a couple of times, and the screen will guide you in terms of time. Does everyone know who Amy Cuddy? Are you familiar with Amy Cuddy? Yeah, so Oliver, what do we know Amy Cuddy for?
I know her about power positions.
Power position. What is a power position?
It's like victory positions like this, or the Wonder Woman, right? Whatever, Superman, whatever, right?
Absolutely.
And then the opposite of that is in the ball, like fetus position, right?
Awesome.
When you're studying something and concentrating and stressing out, kind of thing.
The answers are always in the room. Absolutely. So she's just like,
Awesome, by the way.
she is awesome. She's got a book called The Power of Presence. She talks about the power position. She's a psychologist. She teaches at Harvard. It's amazing. And there's a lot of, you may want to follow her on LinkedIn. She's got some more new information now about triggers and glimmers. So I would encourage you to follow her. So she's got this
And forgive me for interrupting, but
It's okay.
in the power positions, there was actual studies. It's not like fuzzy stuff, right? Which is measuring cortisone levels and all the different chemical levels that they have. And they see what results are from interviews, right, that people do that had done the power positions or the fetal positions, and we saw quite a different result between the two different types that did those positions. But, excuse me.
I love it. No, thank you. Appreciate that. So she also has a technique, and there's a LinkedIn post that she talks about this too. It's called the 4-7-8 technique. And we're going to do it together, but let me tell you what it is. And everyone can do it because it's all about breathing, holding your breath, and then breathing out. You breathe in for 4 seconds. You hold that breath, if you are able, for 7 seconds. So you kind of stretch your body a little bit. And then you breathe out slowly through your mouth, not through your nose, through your mouth for 8 seconds. Everybody got that? It's 4, 7, 8. I'm going to activate the slide. You will see when to change by when the bar ends on the slide. And let's do it twice. You good? Yeah. All right. And I did this because I can't breathe and talk at the same time, so. Okay. We'll do that one other time, but what that does is it engages your parasympathetic response, slows you down, it helps you regulate stress. I am sounding slower after I did it. I can hear myself.
You're very relaxed.
Oh my gosh.
Increases oxygen levels.
Increases your oxygen levels. So we did that first exercise. We had those negative words. Those feelings are going on. We need to conquer our thoughts and help regulate our bodies. So when you breathe this time, imagine your rib cage just opening up. So sometimes we want to breathe and, bellies go out, but imagine your rib cage filling up with air. And we'll be polite to our neighbors. We can turn our head and blow in a direction, not to offend our neighbors, and focus on breathing and exhaling out. All right, so let's do it. Thank you. You can be seated. Comments about that? Say that so everyone can hear that.
So calm.
You feel calm. Awesome.
I do it 4 times before as I get into bed, I'll do it 4 times and help me fall asleep.
Absolutely. Yeah, she talks about it, that it helps her fall asleep as well. Any other comments about it?
Just feel calmer.
Absolutely. Could you all use a little bit more calmness?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, all right. So we're going to talk about one other thing before break, and why don't I send everybody to Mentimeter? Let me get that going. So if you, go ahead,
Pull your
Nigel.
phones out, your distractors, or at least mine.
Okay, do you see that second question there? Do you see share 3 people on your phones, on your phones? So, Mentimeter code 34 14 12. 34 14 12 is the Mentimeter code.
Okay.
Do you see the second question? Starts with share. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know that the technology is on my side today. So it says share 3 people, places, or things. No names, please. So if you're grateful for, Bob, your husband, just put your husband, for which you are grateful. 3 people, places, or things for which you are grateful.
We'll give you a few more seconds, guys.
I'm peeking. I can kind of see them populating. I'll wait. It's exciting. And we're going to see this in a word cloud. And word clouds are kind of cool when you do it in a crowd because the things that come up most often will be the larger words. So it'll kind of give us a theme as we go along. Okay. Should I present it now? Okay. Nigel says, let me present it. Let's do it.
Let's see. Aha. Family.
So the word cloud it keeps changing because people are putting more things in, which is absolutely fine. You see the larger words there.
I do.
It may be a little hard to read on the screen. I'm going to call out, we can do the
Yeah,
same.
we can do the same.
Wife,
Family.
parents,
Children.
father,
God.
God's grace,
Oh, it moved again. Grandparents.
Texas,
Oh, the networking group.
my sister,
Oh, church.
the beach in my mind,
Oh, wow. Vacations.
Iceland,
Prayer.
God's grace and mercy,
Oh, wow. Oh, let me find another one. Community.
my jersey collection,
Oh, okay. Somebody put grace. I like that one.
we're trying to find some that, my 2 girls, so your children,
Somebody has getaway spots. I want to talk to that person when this is over.
my mindset,
Oh, authentic friends.
Paris,
Whoever did that has my heart. I love that place. It says a great church.
Yeah, again, these groups, the mountains, dogs,
My spouse, Jesus Christ. People. What you got? You said that again? Foster.
I don't know how he saw that with this little prince, how he saw his name, but
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. Okay, I'll go back.
Okay.
I'll go back. Got it.
So directly following the break, we're going to take Foster's phone so he won't be participating. Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Nigel.
Okay.
You're good.
So guys, we're going to go to break.
Oh, you want to?
If you wanted to go now?
Oh, yep,
Okay.
let's do that. Well,
Yeah, and then we'll open.
maybe just real quickly before we go. We said it earlier, and someone said it earlier. When you focus on gratitude, your mind can't focus on stress. It can only do what you say. So we did the gratitude piece, and I'm wondering, after hearing some of those things that people were grateful for, if the feeling in the room is a little bit different than when we went over those words that talked about your search. So the key is, let's just focus on gratitude. Let's break and let's come back and do something to increase marketability.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate someone. Come on up, Nathan. We have a person that has landed. His name is Nathan Knuth. I mentioned him earlier, and I didn't even realize when I mentioned, I didn't even realize the guy got a job. So I want Nathan to tell us where he landed and all that stuff, but he wants to give us a little bit of a kick in the pants too.
All right, I got 30 seconds. This is going to be fast. Thanks, y'all. So those donuts, back in the day, there was a tradition, I'm trying to keep it alive, that when you land, you bring in donuts for everybody else, right? Yeah. So that's why there were donuts today. God is good all the time.
Every day.
So the things these ladies are saying are right on. Your mindset is everything, but I would go one step further. It's not just your mindset, but your mindset with God. I've been in some very, very dark places over the last 6 months of job found. I hear every word that you put in there was something I felt probably daily, but I had to get up every morning and convince myself that God had a plan and there was a better job waiting for me around the corner. Sorry, it's rough. One day I was in the shower, I told Trevor this, one day I was in the shower, crouched like a baby at the floor of the shower, sobbing, and no tears came out. That's how bad it was. Wow. I was, huh? You run out of water? Yeah, ran out of water. I like dry sob, that's pretty rough, right? It's like, God, what is happening? Why is this happening to me? The why doesn't really matter. You just got to remember that God will always make a way. He always makes a way. So you have to trust. You have to trust really. Actually, that's hard to do these days. The market out there is rough. It is. But every rejection you get, that's not a rejection. That's just a door being closed because that's not the door God has for you. You have to believe that because believe me, it's tough to be rejected 100 times. Been there, done that. It's tough to be ghosted. I had a formal invitation from a very prominent executive in DFW who, after 2 months trying to meet with him, we had agreed to meet at a hotel down in Park Central off the highway, off 635, on a specific date, specific time. I'm there in the lobby waiting for him. He never showed. I emailed him. I called his cell phone. I texted him. I called his office. Nothing. He's a good guy. I don't know what happened. But I was absolutely ghosted. Followed up later, nothing. I've been there, done that. So believe me, I get it. It's really, really rough. And you don't deserve that. You don't. No. But you have to believe and trust that God has something better for you. So I'm here to tell you that a week ago, I got a call out of the blue. It's a God thing. We're in a church, y'all. It's a God thing. Got a call out of the blue from a guy I'd interviewed with a month and a half ago, thanks to a networking meeting like this that I'd participated with online about 2 months earlier. Called me out of the blue, said, Nate, I got this project for senior HR consultant. I think you need to do this. I said, well, send me what you got. So he sent me an email, looked at it that afternoon. He said, the project manager is going to call you on Monday. The next Monday, call from the project manager. We had a quick meeting. She said, I think the client would like to start like ASAP. I'm like, okay, I'm available. I was working at a retail store to make up some hourly cash to not lose my house, right? That was pretty humbling. So you got to be vulnerable. I'm still working there on the weekends to make up, get out of the hole. All right. So I have 2 master's degrees, MBA, came from a CEO position. I'm in a retail store next to college kids, checking people out. But that's what it takes. Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta fake it till you make it. So I get this call. They said, hey, let's talk to you on Monday. We had the call. Then they said, you know what? We'll get back to you later today. So I was starting to get hopeful, but I've learned not to get too excited. Because I've had things that seem like it's going to be an offer the next day, and then they ghost you. Or they call back the next day and say, hey, you know what? Sorry, it's not going to work out. So I'm always hesitant. My wife was getting a little excited. Like, don't get excited. Don't get excited. Sure enough, I get an email that night at 6:25 p.m. Good news. It's a go. Can you be on a call tomorrow at 9:30 with the client? It's absolutely. I was on the call. I wasn't even an employee yet, but I was on the call representing a company of a nice, well, he's a barbecue buddy of Foster's actually, but
How this works out.
it's Humcap. Humcap Inc. is a small HR recruiting and consulting firm. They're located down in Plano. I went there and left my resume 6 years ago. There wasn't anything at the time, but here I am. I drive into the parking lot the next day, fill out my I-9 and everything, and I'm working now. It's a temporary job. It's a 90-day job, consulting gig, senior HR consultant. I have to drive to South Lake every day, but I thought it was important to come here today, give you some donuts, and instill some hope, because that mindset is important. Yeah. What you focus on, you will achieve. Tony Robbins, I'm a big fan. He says, if you're going down Whitewater Rapids in a boat and you're all about to hit a cliff, what's your gut instinct? You're looking at the cliff. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. He said, but if you focus on the cliff, you'll hit the cliff. Yep. So you got to turn and focus where you want to go, which is 180 degrees away from the cliff, which isn't what our instinct is. The same thing happens with your job search. When you get into that downward funnel and you're in the shower sobbing and the tears don't come out, you think there's no hope. But there is. You have to focus on it. So you have to manufacture movement. Every day you have to get up, you have to pray, start a routine, do some exercise, eat. Barbecue. You can't do it alone. You have to reach out to other people. And some days your self-talk, it will kill you. It does. But you have to get out there and you have to make that effort and smile and fake it till you make it. I know it sounds cliche, but it is so true. And you have to just try to help other people and keep going. And it will come to you, because if you just stop, that's what's going to happen. Oh, it's in the church. I start preaching. Okay, but anyway, I could share my experience for hours, and I'm going to plan to do that. But I just want you to know that that job that you're looking for is coming. Keep calm. The wait is almost over. And you got to focus on it, because when you focus on it, it will happen. And God always makes a way. Always. Impossible is what he does. So, bless y'all.
Thanks, Nathan. Nathan is one of those guys that Foster keeps up with for a reason. Because I talk to a lot of you guys, and sometimes I want to connect you guys with Nathan. Me, Mark, Trevor, all of us do this stuff. That's what we do. We make relationship. You guys hear that word? You probably roll your eyes up in your head. Hey, Lori Mickleby walked in here today. I haven't seen Lori in 3, 4 years, 5 years? And hey, we picked right up. I even knew that she had a different looking hair than what she had the last time I saw her. So, okay, here are the ladies, and we're going to continue right on. Thank you, Nathan. You guys want to connect with Nathan Knuth, Knuth, on LinkedIn. He is an HR guy, so you know what that means. Hey. And Humcap is a wonderful company. You guys check them out. They're an HR group. But you know what? The number one thing that you guys can do in job search you're doing right now, and that is get out of the house and go and meet people, because you will hear wonderful people like these ladies, and you'll meet a barbecue buddy. Oh, I got your mic? You do. Okay. How much?
No. Just, I'll buy you barbecue when this is over.
And as you participate, we'll try and get a mic to you so that your question can be heard by everybody, or your comment can be heard by everybody.
So Denise and I were going to start back from this break, and I just thought, well, Nate preached my sermon. He did. He kind of preached my whole sermon. So I'm going to do something a little bit different because, again, Nate preached my sermon. But I think what everybody needs to understand about this whole gratitude thing is that it all begins with you. It's really about everything that you magnify. And it's not just because Nigel said it or Denise is up here and she's saying it. It's really because it's true. There's research to support it. We've looked and done the research with the Mayo Clinic. We've watched the studies, and we know that if we take 3 groups of people, one of them magnifying things that are positive and are happening, another group focusing on things that are negative that are happening, the third group not focused on either, just going about their day. We know the group that focused on everything positive did better over the 12-week period. We know they didn't go to the doctor as much. We know they didn't have as many physical ailments. Denise has this great thing that she does that I'm going to steal called a gratitude walk. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go to the Mayo Clinic, check out the research, and they'll actually let you sign up and send you a 30-day program that's all focused on gratitude. They'll send you an email, they'll send you journal notes, you can download it, and you can focus on what you're focusing on. Our brains are going to find every reason why something is wrong with what we're doing. We're trained to do that. Everybody in here is a problem solver. If you've got kids, you solve problems. If you go to corporate America, Jesus wept, because you definitely solve problems there, right? So we're trained to do that. What we're asking you to do is reset and refocus and ground yourself in everything that's going good, right? Because there are still things that you can be grateful for, even with the ship going what you believe to be off the rail. One of the things that Nate said that I'm going to say, and I try to explain to y'all every time I speak, right? I'm a 2nd and 4th Sunday church baby. I speak Bible. If you don't, it's okay. You do not have to believe like I believe for us to engage in a conversation, and I absolutely will respect your thoughts. But God runs everything. Nothing surprises him. He is not shocked that you are here. So I'll tell you in this moment, get what you're supposed to get for where you are right now. There's a lesson that you need to learn, whether it's to upscale yourself, whether it's to relaunch yourself, whether you're rebranding, whether you're a partial pivot or a full pivot, whether you're supposed to be doing what Nate's doing, working over here while also trying to work out your own thing. There's something in this that's rich for you. This is for you. It's not everybody's fault. We're not going to play the brain game and go and say, oh, they did this wrong and they're wrong. God will get them. You do not, trust me, you do not have to worry about them. What I need you to do is worry about what you are thinking about. Worry about what you're magnifying. Are you giving a place to this infinite, fountain of negativity? Or are you focused on, I'm so grateful I'm here, right? I can tell you the people that I've met in this room, Phil, Devin, Rosita, all these people that I now know, right? That I didn't know when I jumped back into this. Denise, Pete, and they've all welcomed me with open arms. Everybody's here to support you. Everybody's here to clap for you. Everybody wants to see you do well. We won't do it if every time I talk to you, you're telling me about how horrible everything is going. I will stop talking to you because I don't want that negativity to infiltrate what I'm doing or my mindset. And I'm so optimistic that I know whoever gets me is going to get an MVP. So I'm expecting for you guys to show up and meet me in that space. I have a friend that was here earlier, Rebecca. She left because she had a job interview. I had a friend, Melinda, last week that called me and said, hey, can you help me write my counteroffer letter, right? Things are happening. Things are moving. The job market is not as bad for you as it is for everybody else. Don't worry about what's happening with them.
That's good. That's good.
Just worry about what's happening with you. All of my opportunities are here because Denise has decreed a job found scenario for everybody in this room. And that's the only thing that you need to focus on, your job found. And I believe that's my cue to hand it over to Denise.
I don't know if it's your cue. I'm kidding. That is so good. Thank you. So let's pivot a little bit. We talked about this being a unique opportunity, and there's things, and we're going to talk over the static, because the static is not going to get our attention. Everything that's happening here is going to get our attention. That's right. Yeah, write it out and put it in the bag. Exactly. Thank you. See, just like that. Just like that. Exactly. So I'm going to talk about investments. And I'm going to talk about investing in yourself. And my premise is, this is a awesome time to invest in yourself. And when I say that, you may be thinking of big, grand ideas about how to do that, but I'm thinking of small, incremental ways to do that, because that's what we can do now. So, so many reasons, and I've got, here are my notes, about why. Things will happen while you're in the job found process that will change. They will be different from when you left it, right? It doesn't matter how long, because they're trends, requirements, expectations, things are constantly changing. Does anybody disagree with that? If you disagree with that, let me know. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll let you have the floor. I think I got at least that part right. So you have more time. So who has more time now than they did when they had a full time? Well, maybe a little bit more time. So maybe I would say more discretionary time now than you did. Discretionary is a key word. Than you did when you had a full-time role. So the ask here is, let's work on some ways that we can improve. So y'all know I'm the learning person, right? I'm the learning, talent development, leadership diversity, leadership development person. Let's find some ways that we can learn and invest in ourselves right now in this season. And we'll work with our tables that will help us do that. But let me put this out here. An additional thing that will do is help give you stories. So you all are familiar with the power of storytelling. You've heard that, right? We talk in stories now. It brings people in. It helps people relate to where we are. You can tell a story about your development, what you've learned, how you've applied it, how that's going to make you a better XYZ, PDQ, whatever kind of job you're going for. There's a quote on there. Can you advance that, Nigel? Somebody in the back of the room. Stand.
Foster.
Would you give me, I'm going to ask Todd. Todd, would you stand up and read that?
I don't need that. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young.
Absolutely. Anybody agree with that? Yeah. You agree or you got a little something to say about it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm always looking for a new certification or something to learn. I learned, go off and learn photography. I've never taken a class, learn drawing. Never taken a class, just get in there and start doing it, look at that.
And what does it do for you?
It excites me. It kind of gives me a new energy.
Yeah. Okay. And anybody else?
Distraction.
I like that.
It's stressful, all those other things that we have.
Yeah.
Healthy distraction.
Denise, will you give us a real brief synopsis of what these people are saying for the folks that are on the video?
Yeah, so we had, I'm an avid learner. She takes up, she picks up things and learns about them. And I asked her what that did for her, and she said it excites her. You all remember, thoughts, feelings, behaviors. There's a connection. There's a connection.
Here it comes.
Yep, she's got it.
So in my last job, I had 0 time for any professional development or learning. So what I've been doing now is really ramping that up. So as a corporate writer, I've been learning about AI and using AI not only in for writing, but also graphic design. So that has been really a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with that.
Awesome. Thanks for the example.
Nigel's favorite mantra.
Oh, Nigel.
Please stop telling me about how you hate AI and it's going to take your job. It will not. The robots cannot think. If you have ever said, hey, Siri, or Alexa, cut the light or the fan on or off, you have used her. She has already infiltrated your building. She's with you on your phone.
Yeah.
So, guys, AI is your friend. It will shorten your steps.
In the back right there, Foster, and we'll get right to you.
I agree with her when she was saying AI, because on your app, you can download it. So let's say, for example, if you have, you're doing your resume, you can say resume for a data analyst, and it's going to do it for you. And also, any poem. So I agree with you in terms of AI, just a question of keeping up with the changing of the time. And as I was mentioned to a gentleman earlier, being from Michigan, one of the things was working in the plants. But all that has changed. So you really have no other choice but to keep up with the current trend and learn. So that's all I have to add.
Did you say you really have no other choice? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, my father, he was like, no, you going to college. He said, no, you're not working in the plant, because he felt like those jobs was going to go away, which they did. And so you still have people in Michigan that know what General Motors is coming back. Oh, okay. 20 years later, you're still waiting.
So I'm going to come to you in just one second. Let me say this. I'm going to push back on you. You
Okay.
said you have no other choice. I think you do.
Really?
Yes.
To
You
my
have no other choice, because we have lots of choices. You all know where I'm going, right? We have lots of choices, but what happens on the other side of the choice?
Okay.
You have consequences. Thank you for letting me do that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Last comment.
Well, actually, two different ones. One of the things is that if you are actually on unemployment, you can qualify for being able to take courses and have the Texas Workforce Commission pay for them. So that's another thing to increase. In fact, one of the things I'm waiting on right now is to be able to get money for me to be able to take Cisco certification to make it more available to that. And another thing by that brilliant genius there said, and that is the definition of insanity.
Is when you keep
Doing the same thing over and over
Right.
again and
Expecting to
expecting
get different
different.
results.
And that
Absolutely.
goes for everything.
Awesome. So thank you. So what I'd like you to do, think about, and I'm going to check my notes here, because this is worded better. Think about two things. I didn't say 14 things, didn't say 20 things, I just said two things. Two things. Two things that you could learn about right now that would help you in the role or roles that you're pursuing. I do not want you to list a search strategy. So do not write down, I could change the wording on my resume, I could do this, I could call this, I could write a cover letter. None of that. Everybody got the spirit? Two things that you can learn about right now that would help you as you pursue the role. So you're in the role XYZ, and these are two things that would really help you be more effective in this role XYZ, because it's coming, it's going to happen. If you could just write down two things, you can take one of the little cards, you can write it down on your notepad, write down two things. I'll give you about 1 minute, and we're going to do something with this. Two things. Somebody want to hum Jeopardy? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, she said hum.
Be careful what you ask for. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Two things that you could learn that would help you in this role. Part of this is visualization. You're already sitting in this role XYZ. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. What's going to help you be even more effective? Love a comment about you didn't have time for professional development. We got a little bit of discretionary time right now, right? And it's so important. Sometimes people are in transition. This is a hard thing, but I'm going to have to, I'll say it. Sometimes people are in transition because they neglected their development. But that doesn't have to be us. Everybody got two things? Not 14, not 20, just two? Okay. So what we're going to do now in our tables, and it looks like we have tables that are pretty well balanced. In our tables, would you share your two things with the people at your table? And while you're listening to their two things, help them brainstorm ways that they could gain more knowledge about that. Now, we're all going to be realistic now. This may not be the time that you're going to enroll at a class at SMU, right? Maybe not now.
Maybe.
But there's some other things that you can do to help you build your skills, build your knowledge, build your awareness that will help you be more effective once you do land your role. Everybody agree with that? Okay. So in your tables, we'll give you some time to do that, maybe about, 15 minutes or so. Yeah, 15 minutes. We'll be walking around. Share your 2 things. Rest of the folks, be their brain trust. Help them generate ideas about how they can learn more about those things, increase their knowledge, skills, and experiences so they can knock it out once they land. All right? All right, everybody. There's a lot of conversation. Had a chance to tell some of the tables. We'll ask a couple of you all to give some examples. I got some examples in my head too, so we can kind of share. This is like crowdsourcing at its finest right here. So can you kind of informally think who from your table, and all the tables don't have to share, who might want to share, just stand up and share some examples of how you can learn to make yourself better for this role that you're getting ready to have.
Okay.
He may need, thank you. Thank you, Nigel.
Step on something.
No, you're good.
Good. So one of the things I heard as a common theme was maybe increasing our ability to communicate. And one of the suggestions was maybe Toastmasters, or even there's, you all maybe have heard of Pit Crew, right? Where there's the interview team that listens to you. Recommendation is when you go to them, probably go the first week and listen, and then the second week, maybe tell them what you're interested in interviewing, and they'll set up a group of 3 knowledgeable folks that will go through the interview process and give you some solid feedback. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else?
Pit Crew. Well, the Pit Crew, T.
Is it
I think it's South Lake.
I think it's South Lake. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's a card for it if
Okay.
anybody needs. Thank you. Thank you for coming prepared to share. Oh, thank you, Nola, for coming
thank you,
prepared. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, we have another.
Yeah.
Guys,
Share.
remember that you guys can go to careerdfw.org and see information on the Pit Crew
Absolutely.
and other services that are available in the network.
Yep.
So I got a really interesting suggestion.
Okay.
One that I hadn't ever thought of, and it's actually terrifying. So one of my big obstacles is I try using this wonderful network and community I'm a part of to find people that are in the role that I'm seeking. And interestingly enough, that is where I have been ghosted the most, is with informational interview requests. And so it was suggested to me to pretty much cold call on businesses and ask to personally meet the person in their department that's working the job that I want to work on, and ask them for 14 minutes standing there all dressed and ready to go, and see if they'll take me in or not. Like I said, terrifying.
All you can do is say no. Absolutely. Who else? Another example to share. In the back, Abel?
Conflict resolution. In human resources, you deal with a
She's
lot of people.
going to give you the mic, Abel, so everybody can hear you. Thank you, but we heard conflict resolution.
So in my HR role, you have to deal with upset people, whether it's their paycheck, another person, benefits, but a lot of the time, people come in upset about something. I didn't get a raise, or this guy did this, or whatever, okay? And you have to be the peacemaker. I've learned that skill over time, never taken any formal training, but I want to get better at it, because you know what? Being a peacemaker is something that you need to be good at, because whether it's at home, whether it's on the job, whether it's not in public. One time I got verbally assaulted by a guy because he thought that I said something inappropriate. I go, wait a minute, what are you talking about, dude? But again, you have to be good at what you do. You have to do it with compassion. You have to do it with, the example I give you is don't raise your voice. Don't do the finger point. Don't do the finger poke. The coach in football used to always poke at me, But again, you have to be calm. Don't take sides. Listen to both sides. Again, that's a skill that I've learned over time, but I want to get better at it. Because you know what? There's value in being a person that can resolve issues at work.
Yes, absolutely. So you want to get better at that. What are some ways, so that's the issue. What are some ways that Abel or anyone else might be able to learn about that?
Everybody, that guy's name was Abel Alaniz, Alaniz, in the spirit of networking.
Okay. Anybody have any suggestions? Take a course. I wonder if there's books out there on conflict resolution. Y'all know First Fridays, Randy Mayu. You can go in person, or you can, and I'll loop this around. Or I think Randy still does Zoom. He just asked for a small donation if you come to the Zoom, but he goes over business books. So there's business books on conflict resolution and how do I communicate more effectively. And that's a great way to go and to network with people and to get information. Randy will send you the synopsis. And Mayu, you can look LinkedIn. So Randy's last name is spelled Mayeuaux, I believe. Yeah. And it's under 15-minute books or First Friday synopsis. So there's lots of business book. And he'll send you a synopsis of it. So I'm sure something on conflict resolution communication has got to be coming up soon. That's an issue. Okay. A couple more examples. Go ahead.
Another great resource to be able to utilize that some people know about, some people don't. LinkedIn Learning has a lot of great courses to be able to take on all range of ideas from learning, like new tips on how to work in Excel or conflict resolution or different ways to be able to operate from thousands of credible sources that people are able to reach out and do little hour-and-a-half long courses you can knock out in an afternoon. If you have LinkedIn Premium, it's already included in that little bundle there. So all you have to do is look up, there's a little button for it at the top, and it's a great resource to use.
Yep, I think we had an add-on to that, and then.
Add-on to that is, you can, for your library, you can go to the library and get LinkedIn Learning for free.
Oh, from Houston.
Any library that has
Oh,
LinkedIn
any?
Learning.
Okay.
That's great. That's wonderful.
That's really cool.
Yeah, very, very wonderful. And we know that organizations pay a lot of money to give their people LinkedIn Learning. Great.
Anybody else?
Any other examples? Got one here? Okay. An example, and then we'll move to close.
I guess on the library side of things, if you have a card there, you'll be able to get access to some tool called Reference Solutions.
Oh.
Yeah, and what the point of that is finding target companies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Other ideas? One last thing. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're waiting.
Well, one of the things that you can do as well, the thing I want to make sure you're aware of on when you're looking at trying to get training from TWC, I'm on Social Security and I make too much money. So it's ridiculous how little you have to be making to be able to get it. However, if you are on unemployment, that is not a consideration.
Okay.
So as long as you're on unemployment, you qualify.
Thank you.
No matter what you're bringing in.
Thank you. Some other ways that you can do it lower cost, we mentioned books. Book synopsis are available. The library card, we forget that, right? We forget. After you finish your undergrad, it's like library, yes, library. So the library of today is, I don't know about you all, but podcasts?
Yeah.
There's everything out there on podcasts. Do a podcast while you're taking a gratitude walk. Do a podcast while you're doing a workout. Share what you learned on that podcast with somebody else who might want to be learning the same thing that you are. Yes, it's out there. So that would be another example. I'm going to move to a close, but any final comments, Nigel or
Just
Foster?
Denise's gratitude walk, because I just want to keep highlighting it, because she's not going to tell you that she sneaks out for 45 minutes, an hour every day. and just kind of works through the things that she's grateful for. But I'm gonna let her tell about it because
Yeah.
you've got to, guys, you've got to train your mind. You've got to stay physically healthy. This is not for the meek, and we know it's difficult. And we can walk around in a blanket or a dust cloud of overwhelmingness, of anxiousness, of frustration, but it won't help. You know, it won't get you where you're trying to go. So you might as well embrace some of the wonderful habits and things that we've highlighted here today. And Denise is going to tell you all about that gratitude.
Thank you.
walk.
She didn't make sure that I remember that. So this isn't original, right? Very few things in life now are original. You learn from somebody else, somebody shares, just like I'm sharing now. And I would really call this kind of a gratitude/mindfulness walk. And someone shared this with me a couple of years ago, but it's taking a walk and taking in things that come through your senses. So you might walk and pay attention to the smells, to what you're hearing, to how your feet are hitting the pavement, to the different colors in the trees. But really take in the data that your senses are giving you. We can be grateful for the fact that we can touch, feel, see, and hear. So take a mindfulness walk. It's free. It will slow you down. It will help. I notice as I'm telling you that I slowed down. It will help you self-regulate and deregulate your stress. And if your mind is focused on things, beautiful things in nature, things that you're thankful for and grateful about, then you'll have less time and energy to focus on the things that you cannot control. Because good things are coming, we just have to stay focused on the right things. So I'm going to actually go to a close, but I've got a challenge for you. But in the spirit of Foster, can you give that microphone to somebody in the back? And I'd like someone to stand up.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I got something to say. Surprise.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you? We'll let you say your surprise, and then we'll ask this nice lady to read it. So, what's your surprise first, Foster? Because I'm going to read this and then go to a close.
Well, I do not need a mic.
Okay.
I was born with one.
Yeah, me too.
So Nigel and I have a whole lot of conversations about our observations from the 30,000-foot view. We're both in HR, and I'll use Nigel's mic. I don't need it, right? So, guys, let me tell y'all something about this AI thing. It is not intelligent yet. It spits out what's been given to it. Now, in the future, as we move to the future, they're going to impress human engrams and all sorts of stuff nerdy stuff that I can tell you guys about that'll put you to sleep, but we ain't going to do it here. Yep. So, guys, take AI as a tool. Use it as a tool. Now, I'm going to let Nigel expound on that because she's more elaborate of speech than I am. So tell them a little bit more about what we talked about.
There are a ton of tools that you can use. I posted on LinkedIn about it because I've decided I just want to start to share my thoughts. But the best place, as opposed to doing it here, the robot can only do what I tell it. It can only give me what I ask it for. I asked it for a letter, right? A cover letter for a HR manager job or a cover letter for a project manager job. It gave me one. I took it, I personalized it, it shortened my steps, it made it easy for me to apply for a job that popped up that I wanted to apply for. So first of all, just understand that. Second of all, it can do things like scan. You gave it your resume, you gave it a link to the job that you want, it will actually look and say, okay, you're only a 67% match. So now you know that you need to go back and make changes to your resume if you want to apply for that job. Because Foster and I just honest, and we tell you, when we're looking at ATS systems, we're looking for folks who are 80% or better. I am, mainly because I'm lazy. And it's just, it's enough people at the in the top 20% for me to not have to go beyond that, right? Unless I'm looking for something that's extremely unique. The other thing that you need to understand is that all of these tools are here to help you, right? We cannot replace people. Pete has an amazing training that's coming up at the end of this month, South Lake, right? I want all you guys to show up if you need to understand AI, because we have somebody who's gonna explain all of this to you and show you how to use these softwares. But don't be afraid of the technology at all. And that's the main thing. And we'll be posting about what's coming up and where you can get trained and how you can utilize it to shorten your steps, but it is your friend. One quirk I just want to call out, it's a robot. It says hear a lot. You're a human being. I feel, I think, don't hear it, because when I see hear, I'm like, that's a robot talking to me, right? So just make sure that you personalize it and make it your own, but use it to shorten your steps. So,
Thank you. Quote, please.
Knowledge is not power, nor knowledge is only potential power. Action is power.
Okay, you want to read it again? Go ahead.
Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. Action is power.
Okay.
Powerful words.
Powerful words. This was on accident. Really, I'm really sure this is powerful too. Absolutely. So now, the knowledge is power is a myth. If you just know something, there's no power, there's no momentum behind that. But if you know something and you do something with it, you do something about it, that's where the momentum comes in. I think about things rolling, right? A car standing still, it's just a car standing still. But if you push it down a hill, there's momentum, there's action there. So that's exactly what we want to create. I hope that we all agree. We want to create today. So I have 2 challenges for you. And I'd like you to do this publicly. Our public forum is LinkedIn. Here's the 1 challenge. Post a blurb, a video, a content, some kind of content about a reflection, a story about what you are grateful for. Could be anything. A story, a blurb, a video. A lot of you all saw the video that Foster and I did. Y'all, this was the camera and us. That was the video. That was it. So yours could be the same. Okay, so what you're grateful for. Everybody got that? That's the first challenge. The second challenge is post. We're doing this in public. Think about it. There's a reason why that I'm asking you to post. People are developing their thoughts about you, and you're sharing more about you and what's important to you and about what action you're committing to. So the second one, you'll know this one already. Post something that you are learning about right now. It could be a blurb, a story, a picture of yourself, reading the book, reading the article, listening to the podcast, something that you are learning right now and what you're going to do with it. 2 things. And my second thing is tag us when you post. I want to see it. I want to be inspired by it. Part of what makes my get up and go, get up, is progress. So if you tell me that you're taking these actions and you're sharing progress, you've helped fill my cup, and I am grateful for that. All in?
Okay.
Show of hands. All in. One or the other or both. All right. This has been a pleasure. I'm ending on time. I'll let Foster or John have closing words. Thank you very much.